What if heaven and hell were never about geography? Here's something that'll blow your mind. Every major ancient civilization had a detailed map of what happens after you die. The Greeks had their underworld with Elysium and Tartarus. The Egyptians built their entire culture around the afterlife journey through the do-it. And Christianity? Heaven and hell became cornerstones of faith. But here's what nobody talks about: these aren't random stories that different cultures made up independently. They're pieces of a puzzle that, when you put them together, reveals something way deeper than just, be good or you'll burn forever. Let's start with something the Greeks understood that we've completely forgotten. The afterlife wasn't about punishment or reward from angry gods. It was about consequence. When your soul left your body, it journeyed to the realm of Hades, not a place of torture, but a kingdom of the dead where you faced judgment. 3 judges, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, evaluated your entire life. Every choice, every action, every intention. And based on that, you went to one of 3 places. The heroes, the virtuous, the spiritually awakened. They got Elysium, an eternal paradise where souls lived in perfect peace and joy. The truly wicked, those who committed heinous crimes against gods and humanity, straight to Tartarus, a dark abyss of eternal suffering. And everyone else? They wandered the asphodel meadows, a gray, neutral existence, without pain, but also without pleasure. Just existing. But here's where it gets interesting. The Greeks didn't see this as arbitrary divine punishment. It was natural law. Your vibration, your energy, your choices. They determined your frequency, and that frequency placed you exactly where you belong. Sound familiar? That's because this concept shows up everywhere, just wearing different cultural clothes. Now, here's your practical action. Grab your phone right now and set a daily reminder that says, "What frequency am I creating today?" Because understanding this ancient wisdom isn't just about history. It's about recognizing that you're building your afterlife reality with every single choice you make in this present moment. If this is hitting different for you, drop the word frequency in the comments and smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed yet, do it now, because we're about to go even deeper into these ancient mysteries. How did ancient Egyptians know your heart holds all your secrets? Let's talk about something the ancient Egyptians understood better than almost anyone. Your heart knows everything. Not your brain, not your words, not the mask you show the world. Your heart. And they built their entire concept of the afterlife around this one profound truth. When an Egyptian died, their journey wasn't over. It was just beginning. And the destination? That depended entirely on what they carried inside. Picture this. You've just died. Your soul, your separates from your body and begins the treacherous journey through the do-it, the Egyptian underworld. This isn't a peaceful stroll. It's filled with demons, trials, gates guarded by creatures that test your spiritual knowledge. You need spells, passwords, wisdom just to navigate it. But all of that is just preparation for the main event, the weighing of the heart ceremony in the Hall of Two Truths. Here's where it gets real. You stand before Osiris, god of the dead and resurrection, surrounded by 42 divine judges. Anubis, the jackal-headed god of death, places your heart on one side of a scale. On the other side, the feather of Mot, representing truth, justice, cosmic order, balance. Not a big heavy feather, just one single light feather. And here's the kicker: if your heart is lighter than that feather, you pass. You enter the field of reeds, the Egyptian paradise where you live eternally in peace, abundance, and divine presence. But if your heart is heavy, weighed down with lies, cruelty, selfishness, betrayal, that's when Amit appears, the devourer. Part crocodile, part lion, part hippopotamus. And she doesn't send you to some torture chamber. She does something worse. She eats your heart, and your soul ceases to exist. Complete annihilation. No second chances. No reincarnation, no nothing. You're erased from existence. Now think about what that really means. The Egyptians believed that every lie you tell, every person you hurt, every selfish act, it literally adds weight to your heart. Not metaphorically, spiritually, energetically, it becomes part of you. You carry it, and one day, it gets measured. Here's your action right now. Place your hand over your heart. Close your eyes for just 5 seconds and ask yourself honestly, what am I carrying that's making my heart heavy? Don't judge it, just acknowledge it, because awareness is the first step toward lightness. If you felt something shift just now, comment lighter below and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because these ancient teachings have so much more to reveal. Why did Christianity borrow from ancient afterlife beliefs? Now, here's where things get really fascinating, and maybe a little uncomfortable for some people. Christianity didn't invent the concept of heaven and hell. It inherited, transformed, and reinterpreted ideas that were already circulating in the ancient world. And when you understand this, the entire narrative shifts from believe or burn to something way more nuanced and spiritually profound. Let's break this down. Early Christians lived in a world saturated with Greek philosophy, Roman culture, Egyptian mystery schools, and Jewish tradition. All these influences mixed together. The Hebrew concept of Sheol, a shadowy underworld, where all souls went regardless of how they lived, was very similar to the Greek Hades. It wasn't until later, especially after Greek philosophical ideas merged with Jewish and Christian theology, that hell transformed into this place of eternal conscious torment we hear about today. The word Jesus himself used most often? Gehenna. And here's the thing, Gehenna was an actual place. The valley of Hinnom outside Jerusalem, where garbage burned constantly, where in ancient times child sacrifices had been performed to pagan gods. It was a cursed place of perpetual fire and death. Jesus took this powerful image and used it to describe spiritual separation from God. But notice something crucial. He was using metaphor rooted in physical reality to explain spiritual consequence. And heaven? Early Christian writings describe it not just as some cloud city with golden streets, though Revelation does paint that picture with the New Jerusalem descending from heaven. But deeper texts talk about heaven as restored communion with the divine, return to Eden, the healing of all that was broken. It echoes the Greek Elysium, the Egyptian field of reeds, a place where the soul finally rests in perfect alignment with divine love. But Christianity added something revolutionary: grace. In Greek and Egyptian systems, you earned your afterlife through deeds, through living with virtue and truth. Christianity said, yes, that matters. But there's also unmerited favor, forgiveness, transformation available to anyone regardless of how heavy their heart has become. That changes everything. It means no soul is beyond redemption. No mistake is too great for divine love to heal. Here's your practical step. Whatever spiritual path you walk, ask yourself this question: am I living from fear of punishment or from desire for connection with the sacred? That shift in motivation transforms your entire spiritual journey from obligation to love. Drop grace in the comments if this perspective opens something new for you, and leave a like. Make sure you're subscribed because we're tying all this together next. What if you're creating your afterlife right now with every choice? So here we are at the moment where everything clicks together. 3 different cultures, 3 different time periods, 3 completely different religious systems, yet they all arrived at the same core truth. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Heaven and hell aren't just destinations waiting for you after death. They're states of being you're actively creating right now, in this very moment, with every thought, word, and action. Think about what we've uncovered. The Greeks taught that your choices determined your vibrational destination: Elysium for the virtuous, Tartarus for the corrupt, neutral gray for everyone in between. The Egyptians showed us that truth and integrity literally lighten your soul, while deception and cruelty make it heavy enough to be devoured. Christians revealed that separation from divine love is the ultimate torment, while union with God is eternal paradise. Different languages, same message. You are the architect of your spiritual reality. This isn't some abstract philosophy. This is practical, applicable wisdom for your everyday life. Every time you choose compassion over cruelty, you're building heaven. Every time you speak truth instead of convenient lies, your heart gets lighter. Every time you act from love instead of fear, you align with the divine frequency. And the opposite, every act of hatred, every manipulation, every selfish betrayal, you're not just doing bad things. You're literally constructing your own hell, brick by brick. Here's what blows my mind. These ancient civilizations figured this out thousands of years ago, without our technology, without our science, without our modern psychology. They understood that consciousness creates reality. That energy follows intention. That what you put out comes back to you. Not just in this life, but in whatever comes after. They knew we're not victims of an angry God flipping coins to decide our fate. We're co-creators with the universe, responsible for the worlds we build, both inside and outside ourselves. So here's your final powerful action for today. Tonight, before you sleep, do a complete, honest review of your day. Write down 3 moments where you chose light, kindness, truth, love, courage. Then write 3 moments where you chose shadow, fear, anger, deception, selfishness. Don't judge yourself harshly, just observe. Because this awareness is how transformation begins. This is how you start consciously building your heaven instead of unconsciously constructing your hell. If this message resonated deep in your soul, comment awake below, hit that like button, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe if you haven't already, because we're just scratching the surface of these sacred mysteries that connect all spiritual paths.